What is going on, people? Inside that internet machine, I almost forgot what I was supposed to say. Welcome to another pickup video, and we got a lot to get to today. We got a lot of really cool stuff, a lot of really awesome things happening in the CM universe here. But I want to talk about somebody on YouTube that is annoying the shit out of me. It's Dana from StreamYard. If you agree, leave a comment down below every 2 seconds. Hey, Dana from StreamYard, improve your shut up. Like, I don't know if you're hot or not. Like, I can't really decide. Like, it was Dana, Daniel, I don't know. Just weird. We got a lot of cool stuff, so let's just jump into it. So the first thing, you guys may have noticed I switched over to this case. I got this at a garage sale for like $1 or something, and I put it up on my eBay store, and I was sort of secretly hoping that it didn't sell on my eBay store, and it didn't. After like a month or 2 months or whatever it was, I had it up there. So I took it down because I needed the space, because for whatever reason, we're getting some DS games. And okay, so check this out. This is my Sega CD Model 2 with my Sega Genesis Model 1 with the high definition graphics, of course. And we've got the extender, which is nice. But my Sega CD did not work. So I took it down to Brian's video trader, and his wife works on consoles and stuff like that. So she had this thing since August. And they were trying to like do traces and retrace everything and redo everything. And they ended up ordering another fuse, and they did that, and she upped the ampage and all that stuff so it wouldn't blow that fuse again. $50. And, you know, to have that thing fixed, I think is absolutely worth it, because, you know, Sega CD did not sell very well. It was a very popular console, and I don't know how many of them actually made it to 2023 in that condition, but it's almost like preventative maintenance, right? Like to have somebody professionally take it apart, work on it, clean it, get everything set up, and adjust it so you don't blow that fuse again and have that same problem. It's almost like having a brand new Sega CD in 2023, which is great. Yeah, I hooked it up, had a great time. We played some NHL hockey, and sent a picture to Retrohead because I told him I was going to get that thing fixed like 4 years ago. But yeah, man, what a beast this is. So I've got Soul Feast, Brutal Paws of Fury, and NHL Hockey Night. Those are my 3 Sega CD games. And I'm actually looking for a bigger like table so I can put this on there, because this thing is absolutely massive. But yeah, any good Sega CD games out there? Let me know. So we got a little bit of Bithead 1000 going on today. We got some games, and we got some packages from some other YouTubers, which is great. And all the links to their channels will be down below. But I'm looking at it right now because I forgot. I'm doing this thing now where when I have a console, I'll put it in a box instead of throwing them all in a tub, and I'll put it in like a little, like, I don't know, like a shipping box or something. I'll put it in there, I'll bubble wrap it, I'll cords, controllers, cables, all that stuff. And while I was looking for an extra set of AV cables for my Sega CD, I found a OEM Nintendo Power cable that I did not even know that I had. So that was exciting. All right, what do we want to do first? Let's do the big thing that we did today. So this is what we did. Everybody says this in their channel updates every year, like, oh, I'm gonna get rid of some stuff, and basically it just sits over there in the corner. Nobody does anything with it. I've been saying that for years, and I've been doing that for years. But this year I really decided to crack down a little bit, and I said I'm gonna get a tote. Whatever I haven't used or don't care about, don't need, I'm gonna put in this tote, and I'm gonna take it to Maxine's Bargain Box, and we're gonna do the Commons for Commons challenge. So some of the things that were in this box, a lot of like Wii Commons, lower end games, you know, $5, $6, $7 games that have just been sitting around here for years. PS3 games, 360 games, you know, whatever, PS2 games that, you know, I've offered to other people and they don't want, you know, they don't want them in trade. So, you know, I had them at the trade show, throw it in this bin, right? I don't need 15 Nintendo controllers anymore. Throw 7 of those in the bin. So we took it up to Maxine's Bargain Box, and I told Dave what I was doing. He's like, I don't really need any of this stuff because they're They've got a lot of NES controllers, right? They don't really need Wii common games. But I said, I'm kind of doing this commons for commons challenge. So if you want any of it, I'll take the trade credit, and I won't get anything from the collector's case. Won't use it on consoles, comic books, action figures, any of that. Basically, if it's a common game that's on the shelf somewhere in the stacks, that's what I can spend it on, and that's it. I'm looking for a lot of games to kind of round out my collection, complete little parts of sets, things like that. Beef up some parts of the collection, and as we're lowering this side, we want to beef up this side. That's what she said. And we're doing the 16-bit thing this year, so I told myself I'll grab a lot of the Super Nintendo stuff that's on your shelf. And he was really receptive. He was like, okay, well, since you're gonna get like common stuff that's kind of been sitting here for years, that actually works out good for him, because he'll now have fresher inventory that goes on the shelf instead of games that have been sitting there. Like, one of these games has been there since 2017. So it's just been sitting there for 5 years. You know what I mean? And it's like he had it for $5. It's not a $5 game, but he had it for $5. So, like, he's gonna get more like Guitar Hero stuff that he sells. You know what I mean? Like, I don't walk into game stores and ask for Guitar Hero stuff, but there are plenty of people that do. So he was very happy to take those Wii games and like a PS2 game or something, whatever it was. But yeah, so we traded in all of that stuff, and we ended up with $284 in trade credit. And I'm thinking, there's no way I'm gonna be able to spend all that trade credit on like low end like sports games and whatever. So we went over to the stacks and we started to dig, and this is what we got. So the first game, just kind of browsing through his N64 stuff just to see if there was anything I could pick up that I needed. For some reason I can't find NFL Quarterback Club 2000. That's like the last one in that little subset that I need. But they did have NBA Live 99, not like the greatest pickup of all time. Maybe it is. Maybe that's the greatest pickup of all time. I don't know. Nintendo games. Went through the Nintendo games. See, like, this game's been in there since November 5th of 2019. You know what I mean? It's bases loaded second season. So I'm glad that he got some games that he could probably sell, obviously, for a lot more than the $4 that this was. But yeah, bases loaded. Cool. Yeah, Robo Warrior. Don't know anything about that game, but we'll add to the collection for sure. Surprised I didn't have this one. This is not like a rare game or anything. 720 with a dust sleeve and the manual. So grab that for sure. And probably should have taken these out. Gyrus, cool little shooter there. Ultra Games, we know that's Kanam Nams. And probably the best Nintendo game there. Again, on the stack, so it was free game. But Fazanadu, a game that a lot of people played last year and had some high praise of. So I'm definitely going to give this a try. I don't know if I'll get to it this year, but because we're just concentrating on a lot of Super Nintendo, I'm having a lot of fun. But yeah, so those were the Nintendo and Nintendo 64 grabs. All right, so next up, listen, we got some Game Boy stuff, some Game Boy Advance stuff, Hot Wheels Stunt Track Challenge and World Race. So a little dual pack right there. Star Wars, the New Droid Army. I can't remember if I've ever seen that one before. So I just grabbed it. I love these NES Classic series. So I picked up Xevious, which is one of my favorite Nintendo games. I love playing that. I had that game when I was a kid, loved it. And Pino Bee, which I thought was like a Twin Bee game when I picked it up. But when I watched a review on it, it's like a platformer. And you upgrade. It's almost like, I don't want to say like it plays like Mega Man, but you can like dash and hover and things like that. But yeah, that looks interesting. So I kind of want to give that a try. Here's the one that he had in his tub, August 8th, 2017, and it was $5. They haven't changed the price tag on this in like 5 years, 5.5 years. But it's Catwoman on the Game Boy Color, which is definitely worth more than $5. I think that's like a $20 game. So very cool. We'll add that to the trade bait pile. And then I saw this, I was like, man, what is this? It's Wizards and Warriors Fortress of Fear on the Game Boy. And it definitely, when I watched the review, looks like it plays like an Iron Sword on the Nintendo game. type of game. Tailspin for the Sega Genesis. Again, 16-bit games. This one's a platformer, where the NES version is more of a shooter. And then Stupid Canadian Gamer and his Arcade Racers. I love Arcade Racers, but Lotus Turbo Challenge. This has been sitting in there since August 5th of 2020. So almost 3 years, 2.5 years. And it looks really good. So I can't wait to see how the Genesis runs this game, but I guess we'll see. It comes with a bunch of stuff in there too. Like there's a map. Look, okay, let me take all this out. It's got like two types of registration cards in there. The manual. There's like a poster. Like it was absolutely loaded. It's in like really, really nice condition. So happy to have that one. You guys know I love my PlayStation, so I had to grab some PlayStation games for sure. And let's see how we want to organize these. Like this one's been sitting in there since October 28th of 2019. Galaga Destination Earth. And this is a game I definitely want to play. It's a shooter, kind of based off of the old Galaga arcade franchise. You can kind of see it's a little bit more in depth, looks better, power-ups, that kind of thing. So I think there's actually boss fights. The Swarm is reborn. 9 new worlds, more challenging stages, game-enhancing power-ups and special weapons. Okay. All right, calm down there, big guy. Another game I had my eye on for a while is Wild 9. Apparently this is a very good 2.5D platformer action game. So yeah, excited to give that one a try. And then we picked up Loaded. I think this came in a long box and a black label and a greatest hits version. So I think the greatest hits version is a little bit more rare than the other ones, or it's the black label jewel case. That's the more rare one, but I don't really know anything about this game, but I just grabbed it, Some PS2 stuff, Harley Davidson Rally, a race to the rally. And if this is anything like, I got this is more of an impulse type thing, but if it's anything like the arcade game, remember the arcade Harley Davidson where it was like the mock-up of the Harley Davidson, you got on the motorcycle, and you worked the controls there, and you kind of went from checkpoint to checkpoint. But if it's anything like that, I'll definitely have tons of fun with that. Faux show. Oh my God, I can't wait to either say I discovered this game or laugh at it. I don't know. The Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. I love Silver Surfer. He's a top 5 comic book guy for me. Comic book fighter guy. But I have no idea what this game is going to have in store. And listen, I'm not holding my breath for Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, that's for sure. But hey, you never know. Could be a hidden gem. Saw this, had to pick this up because it completes my subset. This is Conflict Global Terror. And I love the Conflict games, Conflict Desert Storm. I started to play Back to Baghdad. There's one about Vietnam. And this is obviously the Global Terror one. So now we have all 4 of the Conflict games. They're really cool strategy, action shooter games. And if you haven't played one, I definitely recommend grabbing one because they're really cool. Like I said, I snagged a bunch of Super Nintendo Commons and quite a few sports games here because, like I said, Dave was nice enough to take my junk. So I figured the best thing, the honorable thing, the ethical thing that I could do was take some of his junk. And he was pretty excited that I was going to take some of these Super Nintendo sports games. And this is actually pretty exciting. NHL 96. Now you would think that there's so many NHL games on the Super Nintendo that I would have some. But every time I got these in lots, I would just bundle them with the console. I never kept any of them. So unless I've got one that I have not put into my app that I just missed, this would be like my first NHL game that I'm adding to the collection, which is great because I want to play some 16-bit hockey games. I have no idea what to do with this. We'll put it down there. Bassmasters Pro Edition. Bassmasters Classic Pro Edition. Again, just grabbing a bunch of commons to fill out the collection there. Jack Nicklaus Golf. In Ohio, I live in Central Ohio. Jack Nicklaus is sort of like a local hero, Went to Ohio State, grew up here, lives here, all that good stuff. Then we got Pebble Beach Golf Links. I do love a good golf game. I've been debating whether to play Tiger Woods. on PS3, but I don't know if I had the time. ESPN Baseball Tonight. Hardball 3. Baseball Simulator 1000. This is a super heavy cartridge. I don't know if it's got like triple battery backup or what. Super Baseball Simulator 1000. So, and what's crazy is this is from 2020 and it was $5, but he had copies, you know, that were more recent that he priced. There were higher prices, so I dug through and found the one that had the $5 price tag on it. Super RBI Baseball, F1 ROC, that Race of Champions. Yeah, buddy. That actually looks kind of cool. This is another very heavy game. And then if you guys see this one out here, make sure you pick it up. It's Football Fury. A little bit more of an uncommon game, but those were the sports games. So yeah, like I said, those were the sports games. We did get some non-sports games. It's getting harder and harder to find non-sports titles in with the commons. And for the purpose of this challenge, those common non-sports games, you know, they're starting to get into like that 12 to up range, and they're putting those games in a collector's case. They're not leaving them on the stacks anymore. So, but we did find some games that were not sports games that we needed. That was sort of the other thing, is there were games that we had, but I wasn't going to burn all the trade credit on them. But we wanted to add games to the collection, right? Wild Snake. I don't know anything about this game. Is it one of those like snake eat and grow the snake games? I don't know. Oh, check that out. It's got my initials on the back. Perfect. It was meant to be. But I'll probably never play that game, to be honest with you. Somebody's got to tell me what it is. This game was a little bit underpriced. Carrier Aces. This is a very cool looking game from Cybersoft. Not in mint condition though, but I think this is about a $15 game. So again, a game that's getting harder to find. And if they would have repriced it, they probably would have put it in the collector's case, because it was priced on February 5th of 2019. So it's been on that shelf for almost 4 years. If they would have repriced it, probably would have been in the case and wouldn't have gotten it. Yeah, I don't know anything about this one, but I knew I didn't have it. It's a Tin Star. I'm guessing that's probably like a platformer of some kind. And looks like it was a rental. How about that? Tin Star. Lagoon. So Lagoon was on the shelf at $15 and he listed condition. I don't know if you can see that. He listed condition. And it's got a Rhino Video Rental Store sticker on the back. They had another one of these for $18 that was in the cabinet. So I obviously didn't get that one, but we did get this one for 15 bucks. And yeah, I don't know anything about Lagoon. Huh. Yeah, crazy that they have one in the case, one on the shelf. And I did not have this. I thought I had this one, but I didn't. I have Sim Ant and Sim City. This is Sim Earth, which has been there since 10/15 of 2021. So that game's been there for a long time. So that all added up, and I was $1 light. I still had $1 to spend, and I'm like, dude, just give my $1 to some kid or something that comes in. I thought I mathematicalized and got it exactly right, but he calculated it, and it was like, no, you still have $9 left, and he calculated it again, and he was like, no, you still have $1 left. But they're doing this thing where it's like $1 for a raffle, and you just write your name on there, and then you put it in, and then they pull the name at whatever date it is, and you get more trade credit. So there's a possibility that we're gonna earn some bonus trade credit. But I went through the Commons for Commons challenge trade credit, but I still had some trade credit from from earlier in the year. And I wanted to save that trade credit to buy like heavy hitters, games that I would never go out and pay for myself, like Contra Hardcores from the last episode. When I walked in, I'm really hoping that they have a Mega Man 5, because I need Mega Man 5 to complete my Mega Man set. But when I saw this spicy meatball in there, I definitely had to pick it up. It is Ninja Warriors on the Super Nintendo. It fits in with everything that we are trying to do this year. Focus more on the 16-bit, Super Nintendo heavy hitters. Got it on trade credit. So again, all this stuff is absolutely free when you take into account that we just traded in stuff that was laying around. But yeah, Ninja Warriors is not a game that I thought that I would ever own. I'm probably going to fire this up within the next week or two and try and play through it. I'm just very excited, very blessed to have it. So I'll stop talking about it and we'll put it right there. Perfect. So before we get to the game recommendations, that was kind of fun to do last episode. We do have a couple packages from a couple YouTubers. Like I said, the links to their channels will be down below. So make sure that you check them out because both these guys are really, really close to 1,000 subscribers. So the first package comes from MrMatthews, who texts me because we're cool like that. And he goes, hey, do you want this? And I'm like, yeah. So he sent it to me. That's how we roll. Last year, I found an amazing game for the Nintendo DS called Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword. I found the cart at the Heath Flea Market. It was like 10 or 15 bucks, whatever it was. And I had a blast playing it. I recommend it. It's not hard at all. It's very simple to kind of understand and follow. You're not going to get lost. You're not going to get overwhelmed. But MrMatthews sent me the case and the insert is in there for Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword. Highly recommend it. You guys know that Ninja Gaiden is one of my favorite gaming franchises of all time. It's right up there with Mega Man for me, especially the classic Ninja Gaiden. And this does a little bit of both. It's a little bit old school, a little bit new school, you know what I mean? So yeah, very cool. Thank you so much, MrMatthews, for sending me this very awesome DS case. All right, so the next, he just messaged me out of the blue and said, what's your address? I want to send something to you. And I'm like, okay. So I sent him God of War 2 on PS2, which he said he wanted, and he sent me this. So we pre-opened it. I have no idea what it is. I'm just glad it's not ticking and doesn't smell like gasoline because he's in Michigan and I'm in Ohio and there's like a rivalry. I don't know if you guys know about that. What is, oh, it's an Atari game. That's funny. Get out of the packaging. It's Jungle Hunt on the Atari 2600. Yes, one of my childhood games that I did not have. Yeah, very cool. I love Jungle Hunt. It's one of my favorite Atari games. And what I love about it is that like the levels are varied. There's like 4 levels essentially, and they're all different. Like one's an anticipation, timing type situation where you're swinging from the vine to the vine. The next level is like underwater where you're trying to like stab sharks and just kind of make it through. The third level, these boulders come at you and you have to like jump over some and duck some of them. And then the last level, you have to make these like pinpoint precision jumps over the natives and rescue your daughter. And how can you not? Look at that cover art, man. This is a very nice copy, very clean copy of Jungle Hunt. Thank you so much, back in the day gamer, man. Wow, that brings back so many memories. 1983 Atari. I was 5 in 1983. So here we go, final segment of the show, I guess. Games that I've been beating in 2023. Like I said, a lot of Super Nintendo stuff this year, man. I just want to play Super Nintendo. Like that, it's my jam. But this one also comes recommended by MrMatthews. It is Super Adventure Island, obviously on Super Nintendo. Very, very good game. It is like, it's like any other regular platformer, like a Mario or a Donkey Kong or something like that. It is not like Adventure Island hard, and it should take you like a day to beat it. And if you really want to get like Maniac Tough Guy, you could probably no death run that game in a day or two when you really learn the entire game. But the last level is a little crazy town, but like I said, it's not very difficult. I highly recommend it. Like I think I got this for like $9 years ago, and wanted to play through the Super Nintendo games or the Nintendo games first before I played this one. But MrMatthews recommended it, so I just jumped ahead and played it. Very good game. I loved it. Very colorful, and I like you can get the boomerang and you can like throw it in different directions, and it kind of almost gives you almost like a shield, like a level of protection. But yeah, very, very good game. I liked it. So last year I made a video about Pat being a crybaby, about not being considered a real gamer, and I took some heat for that, which is cool, you know. Draws attention to the channel, which is always a good thing. But what I was getting at was, no, if you want to be a gamer and you like it's part of your identity and you care about it, you need to play games and you need to beat games. Now we can have a debate on how many games you need to beat, that's fine. But here's why. Donkey Kong Country 3. I tried to play this game a couple years ago for like an hour. Absolutely hated that game. And if I didn't play through it and give it a second chance, I would tell you that this is the worst game I've ever played. Don't ever play it. It's stupid. Buy all of them and throw them in a dumpster fire. However, I played this game. I gave it a second chance because we're doing the Super Nintendo thing. This is an awesome game. That's why you need to beat some games. You know what I'm saying? Like, just beat a couple, whatever. I didn't like this game because you couldn't play as Donkey Kong, you couldn't play as Diddy Kong. But as you get into this game and you learn the complexities of it, and like you learn like the precision movements that you need to make, and where the collectibles are, and how enemies react, and all that stuff. This game is like now one of my favorite Super Nintendo games. I don't like it as much as the first one. Let's not get crazy town here. The Donkey Kong Country 3 is awesome. And to 100% it on the normal mode, you need to get 103%. To 100% on the expert mode, you need 105%. So I 103%ed it on normal mode. We 100%ed the normal mode. I got all the stuff. But yeah, Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. What a name. I highly recommend that game. I liked it better than the second one, to be honest with you. But like I said, I feel that to really hone in an opinion on some of these games, you need to beat them. You need to have that sort of resolution, that finalization, that here's the end credits, how do you feel now? And it's like, oh my God, that was so good. Let me go back and try and get everything in the game, all the little blip blops or whatever you need to get. But guys, Super Adventure Island, Donkey Kong Country 3, those are the games that I've been beating, and I highly recommend them. So you guys know, I make a video every year about the games that I beat in the previous year, and I keep a Word document, and I like write, list the game, and then I keep notes after I beat the game. I give it a letter grade, and I have little notes like if I 100%ed it or 1cc'd it or something like that. And then I just keep like general notes about kind of my first impressions and what I thought, strengths, weaknesses, pros, cons, that kind of stuff, and information about the game. That way, when I do that video, I can share with you something that happened 9 months ago, you know what I mean? But this year I decided I'm going to create a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to keep track of all the games that I add to my collection throughout the year. We'll kind of see where all of my games are coming from, And I updated all of this stuff in there today, except for that one, because I didn't open the package. But yeah, 40 games we've added this year. We paid for one of them, Cruise and Blast, which was $20. Everything else has come from trades, trade credit, whatever. And I thought that was kind of interesting that we're here at the end of January. So in 31 days, we've added 40 games and we've only paid for one. So do you guys do anything like that? Track how your games are getting into your collection? Or do you just put it in the app like I have this game? Leave a comment down below. But guys, that is going to do it. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share on social media because that does help out a ton. Don't forget to bang that notification bell so you can stay up to date on all of your CM retro gaming goodness. Guys, take care of yourselves, and we will see you on the next one.